Word up, everybody. How y'all doing?
Friday.
It's Friday. Friday. Well, we ending Friday on I don't know if you call it a high note or a low note. We're ending this week on a middle note. You might be pissed off at the stuff you're going to hear today. We were quite upset. But there is a golden line to all the idiocy that you're going to hear in the fact that the one lady that has been the catalyst for all of this vitriolic statements has been soundly put in her place.
As most women like that should.
Yeah, the one lady that started, her name is Sadie Perkins. You've probably seen her all over the interwebs.
She's not that hard to miss.
Not that hard. And she made a couple of statements about especially the children that went missing, saying that they deserved it, mostly because they're white. That was her statement.
Yep.
So this is her trying to make an excuse for what she said after the fact, by the way.
Is a white male has publicly disavowed your comments. You know, how do you reconcile your partner who's supposed to have your back? You know, you got the whole public, you got the whole country, the entire, seem like the world coming down on you right now. And instead of your husband saying, oh, not your husband, but your partner saying, I got your back, you know, quietly, you know, I don't know about that, Shad, but publicly, hey, I got your back. Instead of him saying that, he decides that, you know, I'm going to publicly disavow what she said. And have y'all had a comment? Well, I'm sure y'all had a conversation about that. What was that conversation like?
Well, he has a boss too. He has people he has to answer to as well.
No, he's what you call smart.
Yes.
See, he's smart, and you're the dummy.
Which isn't bad. Which isn't bad for a Unitarian Universalist to be that smart.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, he has a boss. That's brilliant. So that's what y'all talked about, the fact that he has a boss. So he's throwing you under the bus for his job. Gotcha. Okay. White supremacy, everybody.
There's that white privilege.
Wow.
And
oh man.
Your partner, who is a white male.
There it is.
Can't hear you.
I said, isn't it funny that that's the logic he used?
Yeah.
That logic is absolutely just amazing. Just amazing. We're going to listen to what happened to her initially. This is her after her live went down. And
all right, cue victim.
chit-chatting a video.
This woman has made herself the most hated woman in Texas right now after her careless statement about the victims of the recent destructive flood that hit Texas. The woman named Sadie Perkins, a former appointee to the Houston Food Insecurity Board, faced significant backlash after posting a TikTok video where she made controversial remarks about the victims of the catastrophic flooding in central Texas that occurred on July 4th, 2025. I will not be playing the video for you because of the distasteful things.
Oh, shut up. Then you shouldn't have put, look what she's going to say. I hate when people put that. Just tell me what she said. That's all. Just tell me what she said. Everybody's taking it down. Why are you taking it down? Stand on business, right? If y'all feel like that, stand on business.
Yeah. Stand on what you believe. But we live in an age, man, where people will literally see something tragic happen and literally wake up in the morning and say, how can I piss off the world today to say the most vile shit known to man? And she literally set her camera up, thought out what she was going to say, and said it. And didn't think she wasn't going to get any backlash for it. It's the clout chasing, bottom feeding, society we live in now. Everybody does everything for likes and clicks.
And Sadie was basically the one that said, "Hold my Patron." There it is.
Yeah, yep. Right.
I want to be famous. Well, you're famous.
It's the idiocy for me. Like, she took down. This is how much she likes to stand on business. Even she took down her own video.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Good. I found it.
Yeah.
I found it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You got to put it up.
Yeah. No. Say. Go ahead. You were saying something.
Oh, no.
All right. I totally forgot you guys sent it to the chat. There's people in it. There's so many people in it. Or at least one of them.
I know I'm probably going to get canceled for this,
No,
but
really?
Camp Mystic is a whites only girls Christian camp. They don't even have a token Asian. They don't have a token black person. It is a all white only conservative Christian camp. If you ain't white, you ain't right. You ain't getting in. You ain't going. Period. And I think that context needs to be said in this matter. It's not to say that we don't want the girls to be found, whatever girls that are missing or whatever right now, but you best believe, especially in today's political climate, if this were a group of Hispanic girls, especially with them being in East Texas, it should be most likely Hispanic. If this were a group of Hispanic girls out there, this would not be getting this type of coverage that they're getting. No one would give a fuck. And all these white people, the parents of these little girls, would be saying things like they need to be deported. They shouldn't have been here in the first place and yada, yada, yada. So before y'all come at me, before y'all start leaving hate comments on my page about, oh, these are just kids and they don't know no better, the parents of these children who are choosing, and it is a choice in 2025, it is definitely a freaking choice to go into East goddamn Texas and to make a all-white enclave, exclusionary just for white people, with all the black people in East Texas, with all the Hispanic people in East Texas, somehow, some way, you have carved out an all-white, whites-only enclave in East Texas for your white children. Yeah, I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. Once again, this is no shade to the girls. I hope they all get found. But once again, y'all have to understand the climate that we're living in. They want you to have sympathy for these people. They want you to get out of your bed and to come out of your home and to go find these people and to donate your money to go find these people. Meanwhile, they are deporting your family members. Meanwhile, they're setting up concentration camps and prisons for your family members. And I need y'all to keep that in mind before y'all get out there and put on your rain boots and go find these little girls.
Well, from the hyena's mouth.
There you go. A quick court. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, has anyone actually been to a website where it says white conservative Christians only on there? Does it actually say that
No.
you can't apply if you're not a white conservative? Okay.
No.
You know, she's just making
Yeah.
Just making sure.
This is end stage pro-black Pan-Africanism right here. That's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want people to understand there's a marked difference between deportation and death. Not quite sure people understand. I know they both start with the letter D. And to speak the way she speaks, especially when you learn how to spell, Sadie, death, especially in a natural disaster, is unavoidable. Deportation is completely avoidable if you remain legal.
Very much so.
Ain't that weird? Secondarily, sending someone back to the nation they came from is not the same as sending somebody back to their maker, especially when they didn't ask to be. Secondarily, sending the child back with the parent is keeping the family together. That's not deadly. So I'm curious as to how she got that correlation. But then again, hearing her talk, the mental retardation is strong with that one. So I can't be expected to make that make sense anyway. But she sparked a movement. She sparked a movement indeed. And the movement looks a lot like this, everybody.
I mean, women like that are the reason Carnival Cruise Lines had to change their policy.
Thank you.
That's a good point.
If maggots get caught in a flood or a fire, that they weren't warned about. Get what you voted for. No sympathy here, no empathy, none, bereft of it. However, those kids in Texas were children. I don't blame them for a thing. But it doesn't escape me that had it been a camp for gay kids instead of a Christian camp, there'd be a lot of people on this app talking about how it was God's will and God sent that flood.
Who would have said that? Who would have said that? I'm just curious of how you get to that point that we would have said that if kids had just gotten drowned and they happened to be going to a gay camp. It's kind of weird. That's a kind of a weird statement. That sounds like projection to me.
Very much so, yeah.
Like a lot of projection.
These are the people that only base their opinion about conservatives, mainly white conservatives, based off what their TV tells them.
Yeah.
You know, their TV tells them that Christians hold on to their Bible. A certain president said that, you know, about Christians holding on to their Bible. So they use that whenever they want to attack a Christian. They believe they talk about God when it comes to attacking a Christian, but they can care less about God when it fits their, you know, narrative.
Right.
It keeps coming, guys. Hold on.
So
Mm-hmm.
I hate to be the one who points it out, but it seems like it needs to get pointed out.
I got something that needs to get pointed out.
Are we not paying attention to majority of the videos that's being shared about this flood and the certain that's on the videos? Hopefully this is opening up some eyes and showing people that he watches. I don't matter who's watching. They're watching. They see you as a person and what you're teaching your kids and how your children treat others and how you treat others. And maybe y'all weren't the best of, you know, helping thy neighbor unless they were still or the same as you. Because I find it ironic that it was the deep southern of Texas that it happened to. We knew back in the days where they used to do everything deep down in the southern. So hopefully this changes and open up a whole lot when it comes to treating people as equal. Okay.
That made my brain sweat.
Yeah, I didn't understand hyena speak. So can somebody clarify that for me, please?
Well, I think what she meant to say is that she wishes that she could treat all meals equally, but there's some that she doesn't.
That angle didn't help her either.
Not at all. Look. I don't know how a flood became a race issue, but apparently with these people, it did. I don't know how. What kickstarted them was the children. Why they keep gravitating to the children's side of it. That's the crazy part to me. Hear me out. Say you say that the floods, when it killed some racists. Okay, say that's what you say. All right, I can kind of let that one be a part of your prejudice and whatever it is. Right? I can make that kind of slip off. But the constant gravitating to the children's side of it being a problem for you. I have to think that maybe, just maybe, you have some mental and spiritual problems. Like, seriously.
Some.
You got to. Yeah. I'll give him some. I'll give him the benefit that it just might be alcohol or something. Yeah. Wow. But mind you, she's not the it's not just women. There's a bunch of beta men as well. Like this one, against the false equivalencies are what's that's killing me here. His title is MAGA Texans have championed ICE. I have no sympathy to give. Fitting the day y'all took healthcare away from millions, the universe sent you a message.
These people.
Wait, Texas has been cheering on ICE across the country, and now y'all want sympathy for a flood? Have you lost your minds? No, I don't feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for the mom that had that 4-year-old ripped from her arms and will have to hear her baby scream in her head for the rest of her life. That's who I.
When did that happen?
That never happened.
I just want to know when that happened. Like when? Because what's been happening is that the kids went with mama or with daddy, or with the family. So I'm curious as to how that and when that happened. And if it is an American that had the child with a foreigner that didn't make them legal, and that's on y'all. This is not the same thing. They still have a parent. There are people missing their kids. How is that? Again, the false equivalencies are insane that they can make this kind of a reference point. It is weird.
I feel bad for MAGA. You guys voted to take this National Weather Service away.
No one took the National Weather Service away, you idiot.
Nope.
You and your forklift comb over. Come on, man. Nobody took the weather service away. In fact, they were warned about it, but it just was a massive natural event. That's like telling somebody, okay, a Category 5 hurricane's about to land. Or better yet, I'll give you a better example. We have had tropical storms that turned into Category 5 overnight, literally overnight, and gave maybe an hour to 2 hours heads up that it happens and it was coming in. Some people were asleep when it could come in. You're gonna blame us a weather service for that? Odd. That's a very odd thing that they say this. I don't get it, man. I don't.
You guys voted and cheered on Doe's shutting everything down. I don't care about you.
What is it?
I hope you suffer worse than anyone.
Ain't no hate like Democrat love.
Yeah.
I hope the parents of these kids regret every day voting for Donald Trump. And I don't want to hear we don't know who they voted for. It's Texas and it's a camp. And the fact that y'all even want empathy tells me everything.
Wow.
Yep, that was said.
That's crazy work right there. That's some crazy work. Mind you, this can stay up on TikTok.
Yep.
This kind of speech can stay up on TikTok. If you have or make a video in response to it by saying anything, not even close to as violent as he's saying, yours will get taken down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I absolutely hate that kids were lost today.
That's contrary to what you just said, though.
Yeah.
You just said you don't care. So pick a struggle. Outside of you trying to act straight, but everybody know you're a faggot. Just pick a struggle. Pick one. We know you gay, bro. Just come out the closet already. Stop having like half your body in the doorway and the other half talking to your buddies. We can see the other half is in the closet. Just walk on out, man. Walk on out. It's okay. In today's era, you can be that. The hiding is worse.
In other lives. But you guys have cheered on everybody else's demise.
Who's dead? Who's? Please tell me who's.
I can recall when the fires happened in Maui, when the fires happened in California, when the floods happened in North Carolina and Tennessee, everything, every natural disaster over the past, let's say 8, 9, 10 months. I've never seen a conservative come out and praise the death or the loss of another human being. It's always been these leftists that try to turn natural disasters and people losing their lives political. Conservatives don't do that. We go, oh yeah, screw Californians because they're left wing. No, we felt for the people. But these people don't have that empathy.
In fact,
they make everything political.
In fact, we were the ones that said, hey, what can we do to help? Where do we donate? How can we contribute? What's a good food bank that we can donate our goods to?
That's right. But these bottom-feeding clickbait monkeys on the left, on these apps, use any natural disaster, anything, and they turn it political. It doesn't matter who loses their life. It's political.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's an
Maybe
update.
It's all time we get some popcorn and watch yours.
But you're worried about the kids, though. You're sorry about the kid, but you're gonna sit down and eat popcorn, watching them find the dead bodies, huh?
So there's an update to this guy. His name is Eric, formerly known as Eric's for All, with a backup account of Eric for All, who posted an apology video saying that what he said was off kilter. He didn't really mean it. He was just upset at the political climate, and what came out was a response to that. But rather than so he's really sorry because it was kids involved and he didn't mean what he said is his apology. But the fact that he apologized, but he also said, quote, content creators are adding quotes that I never said into my video. So people should be aware that if they're going to make content off of his rage, to actually quote him correctly.
I'm pretty sure we quoted him correctly.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the words you said, we let play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy about him and other people like him is that they'll start off talking about the immigration and getting kids snatched from their parents. Like we care about the kids getting snatched from their parents. That doesn't happen. But then go ahead and praise the death of other kids. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Never does.
And then we have the captain and commander himself, Destiny. Y'all remember Destiny?
Oh, God. This guy.
Destiny had a tweet. Let me see if I can find the said tweet, because the tweet was quite, what's the best word for it? Interesting, to say the least. Very, very interesting. Let me see if I have that tweet. I know I sent it to Corey. Hang on. I just need to grab it because I want to make sure everybody knows what he said, because it's still up on his X account.
Oh, he's not taking that down. He's doubling down on it.
Yep, he is.
That dude's the epitome of a sociopath.
Very much so.
Yep.
All right. So this is his tweet. I heard God killed those kids because they were using at NordVPN promo code Destiny to get around the Texas porn ban. I want you to be aware that he's not only saying that the kids are dead, and rejoicing over that, but that they were addicted to pornography as well. And using his
or he's
promo
saying
code.
These minors should be allowed to watch pornography because we know his background.
Yes, he is a pedophile. Yes.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah. Stephen Bonnell II is an absolute pedophile. Destiny is a pedophile. He's a cuck pedophile, just so y'all know.
Very much so.
He has promoted the wanton use of children for many things. On his own podcast, he has harassed minors. He has sexually spoken ill to minors. So he's a pedophile. He wants children to be accessible to certain kinds of material, which makes him a pedophile. So anything he wants to say to the contrary is absolutely provable true that he is one, based on what he himself has said, nothing else. Now, he said that, and then there was an interview with him on there.
Destiny, I want to ask you a question. So a woman called Kylie Jane Kramer posted on X, I've been trying to wrap my head around how the flooding in Texas became so devastating so quickly. Why not evacuate? Then I saw this. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said the Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in just 46 minutes around 4 a.m. That doesn't even seem natural, to which you reposted this and you put your own words. I heard God killed those kids because they were using NordVPN, promo code Destiny, to get around the Texas porn ban. On reflection, do you think that was grotesquely tasteless thing to be posting?
Absolutely not. The hand wringing here. Oh my God! Stop. If you want to talk about dead children, then you should talk about the residents of Kerr County who rejected using ARPA funds to build the very siren system that Ted Cruz was over here virtue signaling about. Now that the kids are dead, last I checked, the siren system isn't bringing anybody back to life. Okay, the very same system that they could have built for the better part of the last decade. They didn't want to touch those ARPA funds because they thought that if they did, Biden would go and steal their homes, which is the exact same lie that was told in North
said.
Carolina when people were rejecting FEMA funds
sick, man.
because they thought that if the
All right,
government
well,
was giving them
okay,
money for their houses, they'd
Pierce,
steal it.
can I
If
jump
you
in here?
want to talk about grotesque and ghoulish things that are being said, you should
It's
talk
what
about
you
people
put
who are making
online. I agree with you.
decisions
It's
that
what
are
you wrote
actually
online. It is
destroying their
disgusting,
counties.
but I mean, I
Hey,
guess that's
hey,
what
just
you
get-
do. You
How long
dark
have people
people
like you?
at
How long have
midnight,
people like
2
you
a.m.
told
with
us that
conspiracy.
if we spend less money in Ukraine, you guys are going to spend more money investing in things like infrastructure in the United States? Where is that money
Again,
going?
if you're
We just had
having to use
another. We
Ukraine
just had
to
another
defend your
massive
sick
debt increase.
marks
Another
about
massive
people
debt increase
dying,
for more
knock
tax
yourself
cuts
out.
for wealthy people. Congratulations!
Pierce, let me
Thank
jump
you
in
so
here.
much.
All right,
How's
let me
the
go to
deficit?
Ben.
How's the
Let me go to
deficit doing?
Ben.
How's
All right,
that deficit doing?
Don't talk
Wait, I
over
wanna
each
hear-
other. All right, but
So,
Destiny,
Pierce,
just to
let me
be
say a couple
clear,
things here.
Destiny, just to be clear, you don't regret posting. I heard God kill those kids because they were using
I'm not going to sit here
NordVPN
and argue
to get
about
around the
jokes on
Texas
Twitter
porn ban.
while you allow the very same misinformation to spread on this program that leads to people not putting up siren systems, okay, because they think that Biden is going to go steal
That
their
wasn't
homes.
my question.
I think it is absolutely insane.
Wasn't my
I think
question.
It's insane that you want to go and hand-wring liberals over jokes that are not even half as crazy as some of the things these conservatives say.
Okay, but just to be clear, you don't regret doing it.
There's no tweet like that out there.
Okay, just to be clear, Destiny,
absolutely not.
just to be clear, you don't regret posting it.
No, absolutely
Okay,
not.
Ben Ferguson.
There you go.
Ooh, I can't stand that little man. He's the type of dude that looks at his own in the mirror and whacks off to it. He's a very, very disgusting human being. And I really, 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 really dislike Destiny. Like, really.
I'm going to be nice today, and I won't say what's in my mind. I will try my best to not say what's on my mind. Maybe one day I'll vent it all out. Maybe there'll be a platform on which I can do that, possibly Rumble. What I'll say this. I'm going to try to keep it as clear-minded as possible. This is from the same individual that had a wife that didn't love him, and in order to facilitate what she actually wanted, invited men over to run trains on her in the background while he was live on Twitch, to which the woman eventually left him because he doesn't offer a female anything, who probably more than likely sells his own children online with possible things that he's done to them. It makes a lot of sense to me that he would hate other people's children because he doesn't have access to them. And it would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that he mentioned children and porn in the same sentence, because that's exactly what he watches, is child pornography. No normal thinking human being, even if you were to try and make a joke about the dead child, why bring in the idea of children watching pornography if you weren't watching children on pornography, Mr. Bonnell?
Good point.
I have zero reasons to believe that you are not a pedophile in the I would want the FBI to check your hard drive, because I guarantee you money they would find enough illegal stuff in there to put you away for life, because there is no reason to be mentioning children watching pornography in any tweet, hilarious to you or not. Hey, look, I would even give you a pass if you double down on your hate towards them being alive. That's one thing. But imagining a child in a position watching something as nasty as pornography tells me that you have thought about that awful lot, and you probably are hooked on it yourself.
But he's open
That's
about
the
it.
nicest
Though.
way I can say it.
He's open about it though, so he'll gladly admit that he's addicted to the porn. But at the same time, this is also the same guy that is he's a cuckold too. So
I mean, Destiny's the type of guy that you would rarely see out in public because he's such a coward. You know, he knows a lot of people want to kick his teeth in. So he hides in his little house and streams all day and runs his mouth online. That's all he does.
Yeah.
No doubt
like
about
I said, this is one of those situations where you wonder where people's concept of humanity stems from. They want to use the idea of children for sympathy on their end, but not on the other, because they don't really care about the children. If they did, they wouldn't be taking their children to riots and protests and having them hurt. They also wouldn't be taking them to drag shows and street protests with naked men in there if they really cared about their kids. They wouldn't actually take their child to be taught about pornography by trans people and say they care about their kids. They don't care about their kids. But when you decide to not take your children to that, that's hate towards your child. So you do decide to take them to a Christian camp. That's hate. So when it happens to them, that's something damaging. That is good for you. Take that. When I would love to have them put forward to me a time when children were unalived and the right celebrated. I want you to show us that. That's the challenge we're going to put forward. Any leftist, show me where the right celebrated the death of children and those children were children of those on the left. If you can find just one, I want to challenge you to find one. Just find one. That's all I'm asking you to do. Show me one. And I tell you, if you find one, we'll go and make sure their account gets removed. Point blank, period. Not even kidding you. That's how we work. See, y'all, though, y'all will blow up that account and pay them money. We will make sure that person doesn't have a living to go back to.
Yep.
I will guarantee you that if there's somebody on the right that ever celebrated the death of a child because their parents were on the left, I guarantee you money that person would never have a platform again. Never. They wouldn't see peace. They could be all the conservative they want to say. They will never see something. Look, they couldn't go into public properly without apologizing and absolutely breaking down in tears first. Wouldn't happen. But y'all don't do that. Y'all are happy to watch the demise of kids, laugh at it, and then say it's because they're white.
Yep.
That's wow.
That's not a good place to live psychologically either.
No.
And they're the reason people like these I wouldn't even call them creators. These people are the reason that a lot of people on the right will never, ever, ever want to sit at the same table with them.
That part.
This is an update as of today of rescue efforts. I'm pretty sure it's hot out there too, isn't it?
Easily.
You know what? I'm Mike. What goes through my head when I see this kind of devastation is in the process of unearthing sections of places where water pushed stuff over, they could easily unearth and find somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are doing this rescuing are going to have that image in their head forever.
Yep.
Much less if they do encounter a young person. That it's no different than when I have a friend, Sheepdog TV, y'all might know him on TikTok. He lives in Texas. And he went to work with the border people to try and wrangle the cartel members who were trafficking children down there. Last time I checked, we were concerned about the children being trafficked on the border. You guys weren't. Anyway, and he said the hardest part of that wasn't arresting people or facilitating the arrest of people. It was coming across these little lean-tos and sections by the border where he would find the wristbands and clothing pieces that were either bloodied or soaked with other things.
Oh, geez.
At the border. And he said they would be either on the Mexican side or on the U.S. side, but they were littered with these particular spots where they would violate the children and just leave the residue and go on to the next thing. He said that was the hardest part of the entire thing. Arresting them made it very difficult because he did not want to arrest them, if you know what I mean. His first inclination wasn't to try and arrest. He did not, but he knew what he had to He could not act the way the emotions that were dragging him to acted on. He couldn't act on it. And that's why I know for a fact there are certain jobs I couldn't do. I'm not on that level of shutting off certain things. If I saw that, it would be Taken and Rambo all in one. I'd be spraying and they'd be praying. I'm telling you now, I'd be spraying. I wouldn't listen to your excuse. You could be kneeling in front of me, begging. I would not care, bro. I already have the image in my head of somebody's demise. Yours at that point, inconsequential to me. You do it. Oh, best believe I will live with that image. That will counter the pain I felt before. That's why I couldn't do that job, because I'd be stepping out of my bounds. I couldn't do it. That's why I commend people like Mike. If you could do that, more power to you. This Negro, hell no. I don't have that. I don't have that in me, bro. I couldn't be a police. I couldn't be in the military. I couldn't be part of. I could not. I don't have it. I don't have the off switch to transition. Paramedics. I have a hard time watching my kids get jabs, man. I mean, come on, bro. Like, what? No.
Yeah, it is hard to turn off, because especially if you live the lifestyle of justice, you know what I mean? You know, half my life was doing things to bad people. You know, we called it doing the Lord's work. And, you know, when you got to turn it off and you see like injustice, man, it's a natural thing for you to want to try to fix that.
Yeah.
And you can't. Hands are tied. Now, if they gave me the green light, it's on and popping. It's on. But I don't have a green light to do anything. So I just sit back and cook stuff. You know.
When we were talking for years, even during the Clinton administration and Obama administration, many of us were talking about the children that were being trafficked from Mexico, not American children, Mexican children, Guatemalan children, and how they were abusing them. The cartels were abusing them, and how the American government at the time was allowing that to happen. How CPS does that to children. We talked about that all the time. You know what y'all leftists said? That's not happening. There's no such thing as child trafficking going on at the border. Y'all need to stop with the lies. That's what y'all said. So much for when y'all cared about kids, right? When we told you that was almost 400,000 of them going missing every year, that was also a lie. When we told you that parents from Mexico were selling their children in order for them to get here, that was a lie too. See, we cared more about the immigrants than you did, especially the immigrant children. Now that we're getting rid of the ones that made it here and sending them back with the whole family, now we're the ones that hate kids. Where were you when the 400 a year went missing? In fact, where were any of you leftists when it happened as recently in Ohio? 10,000 kids went missing in a year. Did y'all say anything? No. Y'all never said anything about that. And those were children on the left, by the way, too. Y'all never nobody commented on that. Y'all didn't care if they went missing. The Maui kids, y'all didn't care then either. It's kind of weird that it's only when y'all feel like chiming in on something because you really don't care about the American people or the Hispanic people. You care about virtue signaling. That's what you really care about. It's acting as though you care. But when y'all have the power, y'all don't do nothing. When y'all have the chance to do something, you don't do anything. Look, it's a good thing my old me, and it is the old me. Listen, it is the old me. The old me doesn't handle hearing stuff like that like I used to. Trust me, people. Y'all, I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to admit it now. Neither Bro nor Lee have actually seen me go off on anybody. They haven't. Even when I first got on TikTok, y'all didn't see me go off on people. You ain't seen me go off on people. It is an ugly thing when I do it. And I know I feel bad doing it now. But back then, I don't
know. I mean, I've seen you go off, but it seemed like it was like level 4, maybe 5.
No, I'll tell you now. You know what level out of 10? You know what you saw? A 3 or 4.
Really?
Out of 10.
Wow.
Out of 10.
Damn. I thought it was.
All people in this room here have seen me at max. You've seen me at 4, maybe at 4, at max, out of 10. You have not seen me go off. Nope. No one has. My mother is the only person that I know for a fact that has seen me go to level 9, 9.5. And when she saw that, she said it did not look like it was me. She said my soul was not there. She didn't see me in my eyes. I didn't look like I had a human soul anymore. That's the level I know I can go to. And I've made people suicidal with the stuff I say. I will admit that.
Now I kind of want to see it.
Look,
No,
it is bad. It is bad. It is almost, I might as well fight them. And I will admit that. I will admit that. That is what I was. Now, watching stuff like that brings that right to the edge. Like, they deserve this much. They could get that 5, 7, 8 even. But I know what I'll feel like after I do it. And so, no, I won't. It is demonic. Trust me, it was demonic, Mike. When I tell you it was demonic. It was. I'll give you a short story. I had an episode in school when I was in middle school, first year, second year middle school. And there was a bully, a lady, a girl. She was bigger than everybody else, you know. Big girl. She used to beat everybody up for their lunch money. And I got tired of it one day, and I couldn't lay hands. I wasn't big. I was like a toothpick, man. I was maybe 90 pounds if I was lucky, soaking wet with, tar on me. I was light. But I did have one thing in my arsenal, and that was my mouth. I was vitriolic with the words. And during break one day, I just let go. And I used to do it without cussing, by the way. And I made this girl sit in the corner of a bathroom stall crying. I left her there. I went in on her the whole 10 minutes of recess. And by the time I was done with her, she was shaking in the corner of a bathroom stall. She left school, never came back to school. She never finished school. And I didn't see her again until we were both in our adult years, I think in 97. I saw her 97. Yeah, 97. And I saw her, and she hadn't changed much, but I saw her, and I apologized because I was like, I remember it like it was yesterday. And she's like, no, that thing, but it shook me up to know what I was doing to people. So in some ways, she needed it, but in another way, I didn't need to go to that point. And I knew how far I could take it. And then when I started to cuss, it got worse. So I know that I have a way of doing it that I'm not going to. But some of these people deserve it, man. Like honestly, they do. They do. But it ain't my place. In time, these people will pay the price. They will.
Yeah.
Destiny will
you know what? And you know what I believe in, Marley? You know, I'm a true believer in karma. Some people don't believe in it. I'm a true believer in that. And I'm a believer in universal law, and you reap what you sow. So all these people doing all this foul stuff, saying all these foul things, there's consequences on the back end. What you put out will always come back to you in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. It is an interesting side. The same way I don't want to see bro in action with military. I'll imagine. What I know for him, that would be stepping into a portion of his life that he, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, he doesn't want to live there. Yeah, but it's there.
Yeah. That's why I'm a chef. What was that action movie guy? He was a chef on a boat, and then he was just like this.
You mean Seagal?
Yeah, Steven Seagal. That's me. I'll make you a great creme brulee, but also can flip a switch too. That I can go from a creme brulee to
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, Hannibal. But that switch never comes on, But if it does, that means you really hit a switch in me for me to go there.
And I understand that these people have been taught that emotional outburst is the way to go. Like react in your emotions first and say dumb stuff because I've done it. But there is a place where you got to mature past a certain, I'm not there. So don't nobody come and say, I've heard you go. I know you've heard me go off. I'm not saying I don't still go off. But I have matured past a lot, okay? To me to knock this down 7 points, I don't care what y'all tell me. That's a pretty big accomplishment for me. to knock 7 rungs.
Hey,
But from a
Come
3 to a
on.
4, 3 to 4 from that,
I don't know. I done. Hey, Jay and I done seen Marlon.
yeah.
I'm like,
That's why I'm like, wait, you thought that was a 3 to 4? I'm like, dude,
I'm
this
telling
is
you now.
like a 4 to 5.
No.
Mm.
No.
So you haven't even
Okay.
hit the halfway mark.
No, the closest
Raging
the
out on
closest to the halfway mark I've gotten to was with Jag. That was the closest I got to. If you saw Jag on live with me when she came on, that was the closest to a 5 I got.
Okay.
That was the
Wow.
closest to a 5 I got. I've been off on some people on this podcast, even on TikTok, but no, you have not seen me yet. If I were to just forget my senses, it gets bad, real bad.
Yeah, for me, I take a more calm approach, man. It's more that quiet before the storm. I'm very calm. I'm just like, okay, and I'll be quiet for a long time before I come back. Just you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, so in a lot of ways, people, while I'm pissed off at these people's reaction, I know what emotions can do to you. And I know what, when you give into something, even if it's not true, and you allow it to pervade the way you think, you will say some things that, oh yeah, trust me, we had to take it down off of Too Strong.
Oh, no way.
That's how bad it was. We took it off of Too Strong, but Jag has it on hers, so you can go catch it on her account. It's on there. Yeah, it was bad. It was very bad.
Oh man,
very, very bad.
I saw.
I half kind of feel bad about, not really at the same time, but it was bad. It was bad. But people, listen. I would advise you to, if you do come across this content, and you hear them speak in a certain way, let them be. Let them be. They really don't have a dog in this fight, and you just leave them alone. They're functioning on a very low frequency.
That goes without saying.
Very low frequency.
And the thing is, what people have to understand about these bottom feeders is that they're looking for that interaction.
Mm-hmm.
The minute we stop ignoring these low vibrational monkeys, you stop giving them that attention, they'll just disappear. But the thing is, everyone wants to react. They see it, they want to react. They're immediately in there. Don't give them that. Just block, ignore. They'll get what's coming to them later on down the line.
Yeah, I know. I didn't. We didn't. Did you all find that video? Because I've been looking for this. I couldn't hearing about it, but I haven't found it yet.
She got fired. Rightfully discharged from her position.
If you know where we can find it, just let me know. Because I looked for it. I had heard people talking about it, but I've yet to see the full video or even the video. I've seen her face. But that's about it.
Middle-aged suburbanite white woman.
Yeah. I
That's
don't
Jay's favorite.
remember. But she did get fired, you say?
Yes, she got fired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Promptly.
Good.
She's a pediatrician saying all this stuff online. Like, what? You thought she was going to, exist properly and safely?
They really believe that, yes.
Some of them do, yes. But not her.
Even some of the people on the left have some morals too. They're kind of like, that was a little too much,
I've seen some videos of Democrats saying, "Yo, we don't do that," but very few and far between.
Yeah.
Which is a
in
shame,
any case,
in my
people, I hope that they do find the as many of the people that are not passed away as possible soon, and that they're able to move past the events. Fires are one thing, but floods are crazy because you can get buried and not burn and just suffocate. So the aftermath is crazy work because hypothermia and all kinds of things can set it. I don't care how warm it is in Texas.
Yeah,
that flood water can get cold, especially at night, and then you get packed in mud. Man, look. Yeah. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I think there was a video that she made. I think I remember people saying that she made a video, but I can't find it. Yeah, I can't find it. I am pretty sure there was a video that she made. I'm almost 100% sure. But almost doesn't count, in the words of Brandy. We'll be back Monday. We might be covering this. I don't know if y'all heard this or not, but Moderna just got FDA approval to give the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, to people 12 and up and those over 65.
Interesting.
They have been approved by the FDA to do that. And the last I checked, it was RFK that was supposed to be in charge of that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he was all about them not doing it and making sure that that doesn't get part of the schedule. But now it's scheduled. So we got questions for RFK now. Mad questions. So we'll cover that Monday. We'll read to exactly what was passed and how it was passed. And the last I heard, it was still on there. The approval is on, and yeah, so yeah, that's the last I heard. Unless you heard something more recently. That's the crazy part to me, is that why did it even get approved? That's my biggest thing as an FDA thing, especially considering. Now, from what I read, they said something about there were two events that they had to list on there for it to pass.
What could possibly be the events? Like, this amount killed this many people. Event one.
That'd be enough. 2 deaths should be enough to say, nah, don't put it on there. But hey,
well, they can approve what they want. I'm still not taking it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
But I'm just saying, for the fact that there are people still going to be having kids and they may be coerced or forced into something after having an individual tell me that you're not going to have that on there. That seems a little bit, So we'll talk about it Monday. Do your looking around and see if I'm right. But from what I've read, both from the FDA's and from Moderna's site, it's legit. And we'll see.
I thought we were getting rid of the FDA. What's going on?
I thought a lot of things were going to happen, man.
Are we still trusting you?
I thought a lot of things was going to happen, but
I really think we jumped the timeline, man. I think there's a glitch. We jumped into another timeline. Yeah, we skipped the one that we were on, that we were all happy about, excited. Then we jumped the timeline at one of these full moons. Now we're on a different direction. I'm like, just like the Twilight Zone right now.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll be back Monday.
Same time, same place.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Next week will be hit and miss with Straight Talk because I have out of town wife. And so I will be running kids to work in the mornings, and that's right around noon Eastern. So we might be starting later or not at all, and I'll keep you posted about how that works out. So just so you know, I don't want nobody being caught off guard about how this is going to end up. So just keep that in mind, that next week might be a complete wash depending on schedules. Okay, cool. Mr. Lee.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you Monday. Peace.
Peace.